You know, the beauty of democracy is having people represent you, and such representative or representation are those who are courageous and bold enough to be outspoken and speak on behalf of the people they so represent. Today, my guest on VSA is one who's been so outspoken, who's been so genuinely concerned about what is happening, especially in Nigeria's northwestern region of Kaduna State. And today, we'll try as much as possible to unpack it all and see what it is about insecurity in that state. Welcome, I'm Sulaiman. You know, the Nigerian House of Representatives has 360 members expected to represent the people across the 774 local governments in the country. Now, sometimes this expectation turns into sad tales of disappointment that some elected representatives fail to deliver on their mandate. A bicameral legislature like Nigeria's is one which leaves people with a need for representation and also their voices and concerns raised at the highest level. Kaduna State, northwest of Nigeria, has become a hub for banditry in the country, with 222 people killed in the last 3 months. Now, in the last 3 months, 774 people have also been kidnapped, with recent cases of the abduction of the Emir of Kajuru and students of the Bethel Baptist High School still fresh on the minds of a lot of people. Now, Kaduna schools have been unsafe, with secondary schools and tertiary institutions all sitting in a state of fear. Chikun and Kajuru local government areas of Kaduna State have been the worst hit in the state and probably in the entire northwestern region. When the National Broadcasting Commission (NBC) attempted to gag the Nigerian media from revealing the incessant security issues faced in the country, it was instructive that the loudest political voice against the move was Umar Barde, a man who represents the people worst affected. Now, the way to right wrongs is to turn the light of truth upon them, and that's what we'll be trying to achieve with Honorable Barde today. Now, Right Honorable Yakubu Barde, good to have you join us. He's member representing Chikun, Kajuru Federal Constituency in Kaduna State. Welcome to VSA.
Thank you, Suleiman, and Eid Mubarak to my fellow Muslim brothers.
Eid Mubarak. Well, I'm hoping that we should be able to do this in the next 1 hour and have a better, connection since you're back home in Kaduna State. Well, again, before we continue, you've been speaking, you've been so outspoken, you've been so concerned and pained. Nigerians and Africa have watched, you speak about the deteriorating security situation in your state. Now, let's take a pause and, go back in time and see some of the concerns you've shown lately.
Ladies and gentlemen, for me, and I'll say it, the military is overwhelmed. The federal government is overwhelmed. And my greatest call, that even the greatest of nations seek for assistance. Even America, depending on what they want, they seek for assistance. Why can't we, in this country, call a spade and said we are overwhelmed? Let nations that are willing come to help us. Why? Is it because we are hiding something? Yes. If we are not hiding something, why can't we call developed nations that are willing to join hands? China does a lot of business with Nigeria. Is it for economic interest alone? Why not for military interest? Why not for protection of property and safety of Nigerians? Are they interested in only building rails, which is a profit venture? What are they giving back to the nation? What are they giving back to the nation? So for me, except we are hiding something, that we don't want developed nations to come I remember, gentlemen, there was an American citizen that was kidnapped. American, I don't know how they did it. He was, I mean, how would they call it? Why would I call it? The Americans sent what they did, and they rescued him from the hands of adopters. One American citizen. When will the life of one Nigerian matters to us? When? Is it when we are all killed? For me, if there are moles in the military and they cannot be exposed, it means that the moles are stronger than the government. That's an evidence of failure of state. Do we want to be like Mexico, where drug cartel, kill at random, at will? Today, if I tell you that place that these students were kidnapped from Kalapanzi Barrack in Kaduna State, it's 10 minutes drive. 10 minutes drive. If you adopt 120 students walking on foot, how long will they go in 10 minutes that they cannot be rescued? I am not a military expert, but if you are called a general in the military, it is assumed that all tactics of conventional warfare and unconventional warfare, you should be an authority. Has the military run out of ideas? Because I asked, they will tell you they know where these children or all these kidnapped people are taken to. Now, they will say if they attack, there will be collateral damages. So attacking that place is the only solution they have on the table. So we don't have a solution. For me, the military, the police.
And that's, one moment in the life of a country watching you talk there. Has the situation changed since after that time?
Oh, thank you once again, Suleiman. I want to categorically state that the situation has not changed because as I speak to you, only one of the students of the Bethel Baptist High School has been released, and he was released on health ground according to his adopters. The 120 are still with their adopters. The family of the Emir of Kajuru, as I speak to you, are still with their adopters. The family members of those that were adopted in Angwangin Biasabontesha are still with their adopters. So if we want to say things have changed, I would say we have not even recovered from what has happened, talk less of even having any change. So we are still in the doldrum and in not sleep with our two eyes closed and enjoying the comfort of our beds when our children are there under the rains, under the sun, including all harmful animals in the forest. We're still in a mourning situation. That's just the truth.
It's really painful, especially now that you just highlighted, letting the world know that a lot of people are still with their captors and nothing truly has changed. But again, has there been any kind of discussions with the state government, on the state of, these people that have been kidnapped?
Yes, personally, I have spoken with the commissioner in charge of security, and of course, what they are telling us is that they are liaising with the military to see how these children will be safely returned to their parents, and even those that have been kidnapped by who are families of the Emir of Kajuru, how to see that they are returned. Of course, the stand of the Kaduna state government is that they will not pay ransom, so this is a no-go area for anybody to discuss that with them. But of course, the individual families of all those that are kidnapped are trying to rally around money to see how they can bring back their loved ones. How they want to go about it, and as a politician, I feel obliged to also help them. Though it is not
well, there seems to be a glitch to that connection.
Proof on of a moment we Yes, I can hear you, Suleiman.
Yeah, I can hear you because I think for a bit we couldn't hear you, but if it does continue because of the importance of what we're having, we just might have to connect to you via phone. But again, let me comment here because listening to you for the first time, people are getting update on the situation in Kajuru, especially the relatives of the Emir. But again, first, the Emir, have you been able to, meet with the Emir? What's the health situation of this very, elderly traditional ruler in Kajuru?
Today is Tuesday. I was with the Emir on Sunday. I was in the hospital because he's jet and he's not very stable. And let me state here, the Deputy Governor of Kaduna State with the Commissioner of Health and the Commissioner for Internal Security were with me when we visited the Emir. And of course, his main concern and worries is for the safe return of his family members and other people that have been kidnapped. So it's unfortunate, and we keep on giving him hope. Of course, he was happy to see Deputy Governor, which shows some concern that the government is looking into how his family members and others that have been kidnapped will be rescued.
What are your people saying for a representative who's been able to show true representation, as we've seen in your activities over the years in the Nigerian, House of Representatives? How have you been able to appease or calm, your people, knowing full well that the situation hasn't actually changed?
Honestly, it's very difficult to calm them because in a situation where you try to make people see reason that government is trying to do its best and the best is not working for them, they become disillusioned because they just feel you are telling them stories. And that's why I came out on the floor of the House. I moved a motion and I addressed the press media of the National Assembly where I told them my frustration, and I categorically stated that when it comes to security, people feel government had failed them. Government had failed them, and I had to come out to tell the world that this is what my people are feeling because the kidnapping, the killing is going unabated. Of course, there are a few instances where, in a situation where you have instances of maybe 5, 10 attempts of adoption and 8 were successful and only 2 could be stopped by the security. That's not the story of success. But that does not mean the security are not doing anything. But like I earlier stated, they are overwhelmed. They are overwhelmed.
Let me come in here again. When you said overwhelmed, and we also heard, you clearly there saying that the country, and that is Nigeria, should by now be asking for outside help. Tell us what you mean by this. Are you looking at some collaboration between Nigeria and some other, state parties, or, getting mercenaries to help in the fight against these bandits?
Yes, I didn't hear you well, but if I can recall your question, you asked what type of help do I think the foreign assistant and which foreign assistant do we need? Number one, we need how to get good information, intelligence, because if you have good intelligence, you'll be able to nip the bud of kidnapping. You nip the issue of kidnapping from the bud at the bud. Because these people plan, and like I always say, they have collaborators amongst us, either in the town or in the city. Because I keep on asking, each time there is a kidnap, you don't find the kidnappers with any money. They will tell you they're working for somebody, and they will tell you that they were paid. They were just paid peanut. In a situation where 20 million was collected, a kidnapper who was once arrested, and he confessed that he got only 350,000. or some of them get as low as 200,000. Now, the question is, who is this money going into? So if our intelligence to really get these people, fish out the kingpins, has not helped, what is wrong in asking for foreign assistance in terms of intelligence gathering? We need also to have modern equipment whereby we can dislodge these kidnappers. Like I always say, I'm not a military expert, but can we use advanced drones, disarm these people wherever they are with the children, and then go pick them up? The manner how we do it, I'm very sure developed nations have the solution. Just like I earlier said, like I said in my interview, when the American was adopted, the American came in here, they used their technology to side where he was, and they demobilized the terrorists and picked him out and missed. So technology was involved, intelligence gathering was involved. Why can't we collaborate with them? It doesn't make us less a nation at all.
It's still about solutions. Sorry again to cut you there. It's still about solutions. The House of Representatives, which you are a member, specifically the Special Committee on National Security, did suggest some steps to be taken to improve Nigeria's security situation. Do you have an idea of what these are?
Yeah, I think the first thing, and unfortunately, we in the National Assembly, like I said, we always, when the military comes to us, they always complain about finances. Enough, they tell us they don't have enough money to execute this war against banditry. And each time we approve money for them, and at the end of the day, instead of getting improvement, for me, I will speak for my constituency, we've not seen any improvement. So we do talk about giving them enough money for their intelligence gathering, for purchase of hardware, and a lot of other things which are necessary for us to combat this menace of kidnapping and killing of our people. But like I said, we don't get adequate result. And I keep on asking, where is the money going into? Suleiman, I remember it was shown on the television and different channels when the late Chief of Army Staff was invited by the ad hoc committee that was investigating how money were used by the military. He told the committee that he had nothing to tell them, but rather they should call those that were there before. And I remembered also the National Security Advisor ever said that even with the quantum amount of money that was given to the security, but they didn't find anything that's purchased. This story died down. Nobody wanted to go further to mention it. Why? Are there some people that are untouchable in this country?
What do you think?
It's baffled me.
You asked a question. It sounds rhetorical, but what do you think? Do you think some untouchables have a hand in what Nigeria is dealing with?
Yes, I can hear you. Very well, very well. Because if some are not untouchable, why is it that the collaborators of these kidnappers had not been fished out? How long will it take us? Is it until every village in Nigeria is ransacked? Everybody knows that they are collaborators within in the country.
You know, just recently, Nigeria woke up to that very, well, it's a bittersweet story. Sweet in the sense that the flight lieutenant didn't die in that, very unfortunate incident. But again, sad that bandits would, bring down a Nigerian Air Force Alpha jet. Now, members representing the most troubled regions, like yourself, have taken their issues before the president. Do you think the presidency is handling this issue, even though we know kidnapping and banditry are state crimes in Nigeria? Is the presidency able to help in this case?
let me be honest with you, and I own up to my words. As far as I'm concerned, the government is not adequately fighting this menace. And I have my reasons. I'm very sure when the service chiefs, that's the chief of air staff, the chief of police, that's the IGP, the naval staff, and the Air Force staff, the chief of staff of the Air Force, they briefed Mr. President. They've briefed the National Assembly. And one of the things they told us is that they lack enough manpower. And I remember Mr. President giving them marching order to recruit more personnel, which is good. But let me ask this question. We are all witnesses of how VIPs in Nigeria move about with a large number contingents of personnel, of military, of security personnel, including some members of the National Assembly, including governors' aides, including ministers. When a minister is coming to a place, or a member of the Senate or House of Reps, some of them, you see them with over 20 security personnel. What are these security personnel doing with these VIPs? Is the lives of the VIPs more important than the masses in the villages where they are facing serious insecurity? Why won't Mr. President give them a marching order that every military personnel or police officer should be withdrawn? I'm not saying they should be exposed to danger, but again, you have to balance it. If you're a leader, you are not there to rule, you are there to serve. So service where you're providing security for yourself and you are not providing for the masses doesn't add up. You know, it means you serve yourself.
I'm thinking, and quite frankly, as disturbed as you are, as many other Africans watching us at the moment, if there is anything the National Assembly can do, recall not very, long ago, some people were tried in Dubai. Some Nigerians were tried in Dubai, on, financing, a case of financing, Boko Haram. If there are Nigerians already doing time in the United Arab Emirates on issues concerning Boko Haram, what do you think the country can do? Isn't there a nexus? Isn't there, some lack of political will in also prosecuting some of the people? If that is, how can the National Assembly, in this case, help ensure that those who are fingered are brought to justice?
That is, thank you, Alede. That's a very important question. And I keep on saying, if the political class is really serious, without playing politics with security, without playing lip service to the issue of insecurity, I'm telling you, we can do better than what we are doing today. If those collaborators were caught in Dubai, don't we share intelligence with Dubai? And if we do, it means that we should be able also to arrest the perpetrators in Nigeria. They were not just collaborating in Dubai alone. They had their players also in Nigeria. And ever since that happened, have we had anybody in Nigeria arrested that is one of the collaborators? This is what baffles me. Or those people who are collaborators in Nigeria, are they very elusive? Or are they spirit that they cannot be arrested? Or is it that if they are taught some secrets that Nigerians don't want to, maybe the government doesn't want Nigerians to know? Is that what they are afraid of?
Talking about, sorry to cut you again, talking about, you asked a question if there are things that perhaps maybe the government is hiding, but you were a voice, of reason, a very strong one, and the very first to speak out against the Nigeria Broadcasting Commission media gag. and you gained more popularity for that. Perhaps you just might want to share what inspired you to raise your voice against that, action of the NBC towards the media houses.
Yes, thank you for that question. Like I said in my press statement, that statement or directive by the NBC was uncalled for and dictatorial in nature. Why I said so is this: the press today had enabled me to let the world know what is happening in my constituency. And they have been up and doing both social media and media houses. And what we reported and what I gave them was the true situation of things, unadulterated. Because it was from the... And so if you tell the media that they need to be guided on what to report, what you are telling them in essence is that I, Honorable Barde, is giving them a story. They should not publish it as I said. I own up to whatever I said. So why will you tell the press that they need to take some precaution in what I'm saying when I'm saying the truth? So that as it may, the government must have, the government has a responsibility to tell, be careful not to go. We have seen situations where America or developed nation give warning signals to their citizens in this country of where not to go and where to go. So if it's happening in our country and the media is not letting us to know, if I'm in Sokoto State and there is a barricade on the road to Kaduna, if the media don't take it up, how will I be warned not to go there? So for me, that directive is barbaric, and I'm very sure they are trying not to tell Nigerians the truth, which will be very unfortunate.
Since after that, quickly here
is one.
Well, apologies, butting in there because of the glitch in the connection. But quickly here before we go on the break, since after that, release on the NBC action, has there been any form of response from the NBC on your concerns raised?
Yeah, I've watched in one of the media houses, I can't remember the name, where their director of monitoring was explaining that what they were trying to do was to make sure that media houses don't report what do not happen. Now, I want to disagree with her, because even if it's social media where it is not edited, what we should do is to make everybody responsible for whatever you report. So if we do that, we don't have to gag anybody. All we need to do is to make laws whereby if you report what is falsehood, which will compromise national security, you'll be prosecuted. That's all. But anybody who will report it as it is,
not again. Well, anyway, I think we'll go on a break. Well, we'll come back. Before that, we'll see if we can re-establish connection to you, Right Honorable Yakubu Barde, to see if we can get a better connection in the last half of the program. Join us again. Well, if you just joined us, you're welcome. You're watching the VSA here on News Central Television, and we're looking at security situation in Kaduna State, and of course still live with Umar Barde, member representing Chikun Kajuru Federal Constituency. Before we get back to Representative Barde, quickly here, he told us about the plight of the kidnapped students of Bethel Baptist High School, as well as relatives of the Emir of Kajuru. Now, let's quickly recall what Nigerians were greeted, by looking at the mothers of these students who are still in the hands of their abductors.
In the mighty name of Jesus, in the mighty name of Jesus, God, we rescue this children. In the mighty name of Jesus, in the mighty name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus Christ, the God we are serving, we rescue these children. The God we are serving, we rescue these children. In the mighty name of Jesus, in the mighty name of Jesus, in the mighty name of Jesus, the God we are serving, we rescue these children. The God we are serving, we rescue these children. In the mighty name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus.
Heartbreaking, heart-rending, really sad one there, Umar Barde, no doubt. The bandits have just reduced the ransom. That's the headline today in Nigeria. The bandits have reduced the ransom for these students, even though we know that the Kaduna State government has always claimed it won't pay any ransom. Looking at the parents, especially mothers of these students, do you think it's high time the state government changed its mind?
Thank you, Suleiman. If I'm the governor, I think I would not draw the line of making government look defeated. Because if you pay ransom to bandits, you are equipping them to buy more sophisticated weapons. And that will endanger the lives of Nigerians because the blackmailer never stops. So I don't see when the bandit will say, oh, we have enough money and we'll stop. So it's either the government stays their headlong, defeat them, or make them come to negotiation table and let them leave what they are doing. The ransom payment will embolden them the more, and they'll start to take over territory. And that will be very dangerous. Look at the trend of what is happening today. These so-called bandits started as kidnappers or cattle rustlers. Today, they realize cattle rustling does not give them enough money. So they graduated into rustling human beings, if there is a word like that. They kidnap human beings, they pay them for ransom, and gradually today, in one of the northeast states, there was a report that the bandit went there with armed personnel carrier. What is it armed personnel carrier? ARS. Armed personnel carrier, and they have rocket-propelled bullets. Now you see, out of research, it is sad that it is the bandit that brought down that death, which thankfully to God, that hero was able to shoot himself out and he survived. Now you can see that it's becoming more sophisticated. Why? Because ransom is paid and they buy better weapons to fight the Nigerian. So I think it's not the way to go. It's either we face their head down or we'll make sure that they are not able to kidnap our people. That's the only way.
Let me jump in here. Do you think these bandits, your community people, some of them have actually been accosted by these bandits? What's the story from your community? Do these people look like they're all Nigerians, or they have mercenaries who are working with them from outside Nigeria?
I will tell you personal story or the story of my village. My village, which is Chikun, in Chikun local government, we had Fulanis and the Hausa people and my local tribe, the Bagi people. When this cattle rustling came, the Hausas and the Bagi felt, oh, it is not their business because they don't have cattle. So most of the Fulanis in my area, in my village, became without work because all their cattle was stolen. So some of them have felt, oh, I don't have stuff to do. I was a cattle header. Now all my cattle have been stolen. Most of them that were very good or had a second work went into farming. But you see, farming was not the way of life with the Fulani man. Suddenly we realized that some of the young men among the Fulani people that were in my village disappeared. So they went also to join others to back them to also engage in cattle rustling because that was the top in trade. They never came back. Now, they started coming to the village and there were no more cattle in our village. And the next option they had was to tell the people in my village that no, we are not going to kidnap you, but we are kidnapping others in your neighboring village because you allow our parents to stay here. And at the end of the day, even in the neighboring village, they ran away. So they started kidnapping even within my village. And the next anger of the people was that, oh, you these Fulani that are here, why is it that when these people are coming, they don't touch you? Why did they kidnap them? So they were afraid that the anger of the people will turn on them. And they also disappeared. They ran away from the village. So this is how it has evolved over time. And let me tell you what is happening now. Because some of our people, including the Hausas and the Bagi, they have bad gangs who have now felt, oh, kidnapping of people is a lucrative business. So they help in becoming informants, where they are paid peanuts. Because you can imagine in a village, somebody sells the property, the bad gang, the kidnappers in the bush or in the forest, they even know how much the person owns the property. It means that they are collaborators, informants within the people in the village.
Let me come in here again. Sorry to butt in. Let me come in. You raised, a point now that requires, some clarity here. Are there categories of persons that these bandits don't kidnap?
The bandits, what else do they do? They kidnap because it's a business to them. And if some of them are so hard-hearted that if you don't give them the money, they kill people. But there are those seriously worst one among them that come, they will not only kidnap, they burn down houses, they rape our children and our mothers, and go into the forest. So they are, if I can tell you authoritatively that these bandits or kidnappers have groups, and some groups are related to Boko Haram. This is the true situation.
So you think Nigeria is dealing with
it's an international terrorism
in the northwest at the moment?
Yes.
And since schools are worse hit, you think this also has a nexus with Boko Haram that abhors Western education?
Like I tell you, they are into Twitter groups now. You hear where some Boko Haram people declare their loyalty to ISWAP. Now, the people I'm reliably informed that kidnapped the Bethel Baptist High School students are not affiliates of ISWA. Because that was why they were lenient, let me say lenient, to release one of them on health ground. The bad ones among them will not even do that. They will just go ahead and kill the people. That's the truth. So if you realize that their aim is to Islamize based on their own understanding of Islam, then you know that of course they are Boko Haram or Islam. Because they want to form a caliphate where they have their own type of Islam.
So, what Nigerians have been asking for, the National Assembly inclusive help, now I'm talking about a constitution review, can it help reposition Nigeria better, especially in terms of getting better security?
Brilliant question, Suleiman. The truth is that we are in the process of amending the constitution, and I'm happy with one thing, where there will be state police. So we amend the constitution where the states can have their police, and they will be able to tackle this issue of insecurity better than the federal police. You could give marching order quickly to the police commissioner who is under his state than the one that is receiving instruction or order from the IGP. Because for me, I understand the frustration of some governors when it comes to that. If the governor wants the military to be deployed to a particular place, depending on how large the deployment is, the commandant has to wait for instructions from the GOT, and the GOT, depending on the extent of the operation, will have to wait for order from the chief of army staff, or the chief of air staff, or the chief of naval staff, as the case may be. That's fabulous. It doesn't make front discharge of protection of lives and property. It doesn't make the front. It's one of the aspects.
I think certainly we'll need to talk more about the situation happening in your state because time is really not friendly on this conversation. But quickly here, you are one of the longest serving members in Nigeria's House of Representatives. Tell us, how has your time been there as a member?
Thank you. I thank God and I thank the people of my constituents who have confidence in me. This is my fifth term in the National Assembly. And over time, I would say the National Assembly has evolved to make laws faster and I think better to some extent. I remember when I went to the National Assembly in 2003, the number of bills who passed under Speaker Masari is far less than what we are doing today. Today, you could see that members are going into our old laws, amend them, and make sure that they are up to date. You could see today, with the leadership of Femi Naja, we have passed over 100 bills in our first 2 years. And I guess that before we end this term, we will be able to get up to nearly 300 bills that will be passed. And I bet you Nigerians will better for it because most of them reflect the yearning of Nigerians.
You know, I must ask this question, and it borders around, my profession and, the media. A lot of people have been worried, even though a lot of people still haven't been able to see the bill, Is that truly a bill that is meant to gag the media before the House of Representatives?
Yeah, there's a bill on the media, but I will tell you personally, and I've had speakers say on the floor of the House, that we are committed to make the work of better. And I'm personally committed to that. Any clause in the amendment which Honorable Olusegun wants to bring that will guard the media, you can count me out. And if I'm going to stand alone, I'm ready to do that.
How does it work, in the National Assembly? Because since you're someone who has been there for almost 2 decades, you're in a better position to answer this. When you all come together to vote on a bill or on a matter of importance, how does the voting work? Do you have a conversation with your constituents to ask them, their thinking, their feeling towards that before you come back to the floor of the National Assembly, or on your own, you already know the thinking of your people as to how to vote?
Yes. Let me be very honest with you. I remember I was in the 7th Assembly. This Assembly, the issue of constitutional amendment, the National Assembly was grouped to 6 zones, went and find out what people really want. But let me tell you my frustration as the parliamentarian. Most members of our Congress are not really keen what the lawmaking process is all about. Most of our constituents are just interested in you providing the basic infrastructure for them. Hospitals, roads, primary schools, drinking water. And I don't blame them because of the backwardness of our country. Because if they have all these things, that is the only reason that will make them look elsewhere to help you, the lawmaker, help you in making it easier. I can't remember any member of my constituents writing me to bring about a motion or to make my work better or to make him feel the country cares. So when we vote, it's based on assumption that, okay, this is what I think the people want. Most of the time, because you go there, how many people meet you to tell you that, oh, we need to make this law? Most of them meet you, say, look, we are hungry, we don't have food, we don't have hospital bills. These are basic needs. These are basic needs. Unfortunately, that's what happened.
Well, I think no doubt. I think the move I think the call for voter education and educating the constituents is very key here. And I'm hoping that, in the days ahead, when we have you back again, these are some of the key things we'll look at. Right Honorable Yakubu Umar Barde, many thanks for speaking with us. And of course, we hope that the situation in your constituency will abate any moment from now, and we're hoping that these students will be reunited with their families, as you say, the government of Kaduna State and your constituents are working to ensuring that this is over. Do not be silent, as they say. There is no limit to the power that may be released through you, Howard Thurman once said. So as much as we speak as a people, we also seek to hear the voices of the people voted to represent us, as we've seen Umar Barde do with his people. I'll be back again tomorrow. I'm Sulaiman. See you then.